Hey, so this is James from Mind Unlimited, and I just wanted to talk about decisions and how important decisions are and how much they really shape every part of our lives. A decision is the difference between you taking on certain friends and putting other friends out of your life. It's the decision to move to a new place or to take up a certain job, or really just to talk to someone that you haven't met before. If you make that decision, you could bring some completely new person into your life and it can completely change your life. So decisions are very, very important. And within psychology, we like to look at the emotions behind your decisions and how your emotions affect the decisions that you make. You know, do you feel good about this or do you feel bad? Do you get a good vibe or a bad vibe from this person? All these feelings affect the way we make decisions. And basically, if you can understand how those feelings are affecting you and your decision process, you can just make way better decisions. You're kind of in control of what you're doing, and I guess you're just more in control of the decisions you're making, and you know what's going on. So this is a video about those emotions and how they govern your decision making. So if you watch this, you can learn how they all work, and you can make way better decisions. So let's get into it. So within psychology, there's a very interesting area called affective forecasting. So if I was to ask you, how happy would you be if you won the lottery? Or how sad would you be if someone broke up with you? Your ability to predict or forecast how you're going to feel is called affective forecasting, where you predict how you're going to feel emotionally. And if someone did break up with you, you might think that you'd feel really, really bad for a long time. But what studies show consistently is that we actually overestimate it hugely. We think we're going to feel bad for a very, very long time, or we think we're going to feel good for a very, very long time. But in reality, you feel good for a little bit, and then you just go back to your base level of happiness. And you might feel bad for a little bit, and then you just go back to normal. So they've done a lot of studies on affective forecasting, taking a look at different situations and really just taking a look at how bad we are at predicting how we're going to feel. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of these studies so you can get a better idea of how it actually works and how it affects you. So let's take a look at that. According to Daniel Gilbert, there's a certain pattern our emotional reactions tend to follow. So if we were to plot our emotional intensity on one axis, and then we were to take a look at different time points on the other axis, we could take a look at how our emotional experiences play out. And we predict things to be really, really bad and to last for a very long time. But our actual experience isn't really that bad. It's not that intense and it doesn't last that long. So our expectation may be really intense, but our reality really doesn't match up. So this is called the duration bias, and it pretty much just means that you think how you're going to feel is going to last a lot longer. And this really affects our decisions, because if you think something is going to be really, really bad, like quitting your job is going to be horrible and you're going to feel bad for a very long time, it might put you off. You might never quit your job because you're just so worried about how bad it's going to make you feel. And you don't know that you're actually going to be okay. And so that leads researchers to ask, well, why does this happen? Why do we feel this way? What makes us feel better about all these things? And what they've termed it is the psychological immune system. It was a term coined by Daniel Gilbert. And he realized that we actually have a whole bunch of cognitive processes that kind of protect us from negative things happening. It's the part of you that kind of reframes something bad as something good. Now let's take a look at how you can actually use the psychological immune system to your own benefit. And the main way it works is with understanding. So being able to understand what's going on and why something has happened is really key to the psychological immune system and how it works. So it sounds a little bit strange, but we'll take a look at some of the research and see how it all works. And so they've done these studies. It's a bit of a weird study to cite, but basically they had a random stranger go up to you and give you $1. And with the dollar was a little thank you card saying something really nice and just, hope you have a good day, this is for you. And they had two different conditions. In one condition, the random person who comes up to you is just completely random. They just give it to you, they don't say anything. And in the second condition, they tell you, I'm from the random gift organization. We're doing this as part of a program. We're just going around and approaching different people in the street to give them these gifts. This is very official. And what they found is the people who got the official person, they didn't feel happy for very long. But the people who got the completely random person and they had no explanation, they felt happier for a lot longer. And what research is suggesting is that you need to understand why something has happened for the immune system to kick in. So once people understand why something has happened, these processes bring your mood back to normal. And they've done another one of these studies called the pen and breaker studies. And what they get students to do is they get students to write something that is very traumatic that has happened to them. And they just write an essay about it. And they do 15 minutes, I think 4 times over a month or so. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, so you might want to take a look at the article. And what they found is after students did this, they had better moods, better grades, better immune system, less stress. Like there was just all these positive boosts after writing about this traumatic experience for these couple of essays. And what they suggested is it's part of the psychological immune system coming to understand what was wrong and then you processing through it. And now not all the students experienced all these positive benefits. Some did and some didn't. And among the people who did experience all these positive benefits, there was something different in the way they wrote their essays compared to the others. So let's take a closer look at what that was. The students had to write 4 different essays about a deeply traumatic experience. And what was consistent is that in the first essay, what they wrote about was really unorganized and unclear, which makes a lot of sense because we don't want to think about traumatic things that have happened to us. We usually avoid them. As the essays continued, what they wrote about seemed to get more and more defined. It became more logical. As they progressed through the stories, they could better understand what was happening to them, as though they were figuring it out and processing through this traumatic experience. And by the final essay, it was a very clear and concise piece about that traumatic experience. So yeah, that's it. So by understanding these negative things, they were able to work through the pain and grow from it. And with what we've looked at so far, it suggests that just being able to talk to someone and find reasons and define reasons about the traumatic things or the painful things that have happened to you, that is the process that helps alleviate the pain and makes you feel better. So you want to understand why negative things have happened to you, and that way your psychological immune system can kick in. So here's the main takeaway. If something good happens to you, just let it be. Don't try and figure out why it happened. Just let it be and enjoy it for what it is. And if something bad has happened to you, try and figure out why. Give some meaning to it. Work through it and define it and better understand it. Because we tend to just avoid these painful things. We don't want to think about these bad things that have happened to us. We just want to avoid them. But this research suggests that if you can process it through, if you can come to understand it, you can overcome these negative experiences. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not registered at all. I'm not a doctor. So if you are going through something negative and it's traumatic, please seek professional help. And try this out as well. I hope this helps, but please consult your doctor. And yeah, that's it. I really do hope this helps. Subscribe for more videos and I'll catch you around. See ya.